To chair to the full committee chairman, Ed Royce, gentleman from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding this hearing, and I thank you, and I thank Karen Bass as well for your trips to Nigeria. One of the realities here is this is a satellite image of the town of Baga before and after the attack, and reportedly as many as 2,000 people were slaughtered in this assault. Now, I remember conversations that I had some years ago in our trips to Nigeria. There was in northern Nigeria a governor who told us, a Muslim governor in the north, that because Gulf state money was coming in and establishing a new madrasa across the street from the madrasa where he grew up, he said, you know, it's 10 times the size, it has 100 times the budget, but apparently in all of these agreements, there's one thing that comes with it. A Gulf state imam who is changing our culture, changing our indigenous culture, and radicalizing our youth. And I said, what do you mean by radicalizing? He said, if you went into that madrasa, you would find a bin Laden t-shirt on some of those young men. And he said, you know, I have a feeling that here in the north, it's only going to be a matter of time before they come for me. And then they'll come for my people. And then the slaughter will start. And I think today about the warnings this governor from an area near where Boko Haram operates gave us. I think of Deborah, who testified before our committee, one of the survivors from the village. Both of her parents were massacred. Now she's in hiding. She can't go back to Nigeria. And it took a real push. And yes, Chairman Smith is right. It took a push to convince the administration to put Boko Haram on this list, on this terrorist list. But frankly, Boko Haram is the ISIS of Africa. If you look at the political ideology, tell me the difference between what Boko Haram believes and what ISIS believes. And this is not an indigenous movement. To go back to the point the governor made, this is something introduced into society where children were radicalized. And now we're to the point where children are being used, you know, putting suicide vests on them and pushing them into a marketplace. This has to be confronted. And yes, it's going to be a tense political environment over there. Myself and Don Payne, who used to serve on this committee with us, and Colin Powell, we co-chaired an election observer team that went over to Nigeria for a prior election. I know how tough this election is going to be, given the fact that Boko Haram is operational in the north as they try to conduct this election. But I will tell you right now, we have absolutely no alternative but to engage with Nigeria, with the assets that we have, to go after Boko Haram. There is no other possibility here to end this violence. And the Nigerian military, despite its faults, it is the only feasible resource for defeating Boko Haram. We don't have another recourse except to use that resource that is their military. And we have a situation today where we've tied our hands. We've tied our hands so that we cannot use special ops and put on the ground, with the type of expertise and connection to satellite technology and tracking abilities that our special operations forces have, to go with the Nigerian military and track down, and we should have done it immediately when those 300 girls were captured. We should have tracked them. We should have assisted with our capabilities. No, our special ops forces don't have to be involved in an attack, but they can certainly, with all they know about how to free people from captivity, help plan an attack, help strategize, help key this thing up. My friends, it is long since time to lift the Leahy restrictions in the face of what confronts not just Nigeria anymore, but Chad and Cameroon and other neighboring countries. This is the region now that we see engulfed in this. And those of us who have the capacity, the capability of coming in and assisting We should assist these countries in confronting this challenge. And that is why I very much appreciate the fact that the chairman of this subcommittee and Congresswoman Karen Bass, the ranking member, have been engaged in this issue, and I hope they will push for more U.S. engagement. Frankly, our military is unmatched in its technical and capacity building capabilities, and it's a travesty not to have them fully engaged in supporting the Nigerians to combat Boko Haram. Thank you.